Oh my God, you guys, you're not going to believe what I did. I always figured I would do this eventually. Because I remember my sister did something similar and I remember laughing at her, thinking, oh God, I hope that doesn't ever happen to me. Well, it did. This morning, when I first wake up, I grab my glasses and I'll scroll through my messages. And my husband had messaged me something to do with our water, the shutoff valve, because we had to install this new gadget to our water after we had our water loss in order to keep our insurance. And basically, what it does is if there's even a trickle of water, if you leave the sink on or whatever, it shuts all your water off. And he gets a notification on his phone. Well, it had let him know that the water had been turned off, and he wanted me to check and see. He thought he overrode it or had to override it or whatever on his phone. He wanted to make sure it worked because he has a drip system set up for our garden, and he thinks that's what it was. The drip system did this. So anyway, yeah, the water was off. I had to get up and check, and it was like, yep, the water's off. So, he said, well, yeah, text me back. So I went to the bathroom and I checked it, and somehow I ended up calling him. I wasn't paying attention to that. And so I hit the call button, and then I set the phone down on the tub next to me, and I got on the toilet to use the bathroom. Next thing I know, he's like, hello. And I'm like, I realized I had called him, but I thought it was just a phone call. I didn't realize it was a video call, but it was facing the ceiling, so he wasn't watching me. But it was my husband, but still, it was the idea that I did it accidentally. I could have called anybody. You know what I mean? It could have happened, and it wasn't until I picked the phone up. I used the bathroom, and then when I was done, I reach over, I pick up the phone, and I see him. I realized it was a video call. I didn't know it at that point. I thought we were just talking on the phone. I was like, oh my God. First thing in the morning. And I thought that was so funny because I remember a few years ago, my sister did something similar. Well, she wasn't in the bathroom, but she had just woke up. She was laying in bed and she's looking at her phone, in all her glory. When you first wake up in the morning, you know how wonderful we all look. And she's looking at the phone and she couldn't tell what she was seeing. I could tell because she'd gone live. And she's like, she's pushing buttons and she kept going and moving the camera around, and I was laughing hysterical because it said she was live, and I thought she's gonna die when she realizes, she hadn't even brushed her hair yet, let alone put on makeup or anything, and it was funny, but I laughed so hard I almost wet myself, and this was my karma for laughing at her. So yeah, be careful first thing in the morning. Those phones, they're my big fat fingers. But anyway, so yeah, that's how I started out my morning. I am feeling better. I probably don't sound it, but my throat doesn't hurt. It was hurting. It was on fire. And, I gargled with salt water. Thank you for reminding me. And I did all the things, took my supplements and my Mary Magdalene and all the stuff. And I am feeling better. I'm just fatigued, which is natural when your body's fighting off something like that. Our bodies are so miraculous, and it's spent the last 3 days just, going to war for me, fighting off these germs. And I did a wonderful job, but now I owe it some rest, after going to battle like that. And the problem is I can't right now. I've got so much to do, but I'm not doing anything too strenuous. But it's Monday. Mondays are my busy day. But hopefully after I'm done, I'm just going to be picking up the kids from school. And then I have to pick up my grandson later from soccer. But nothing strenuous. But once I'm done, I need to come home and just lay low, And it's hard. It's hard to do that because there's so many things. I'm looking around. It's like, oh, I need to do this and that. And you know what I mean? And it's like, nothing's going to go anywhere. It's all still going to be here. So there's no big hurry. I don't have a deadline on any of this stuff. I will get it done. But in the meantime, I owe my body a chance to rest and heal. So I'm going to do that. That's the best thing you can do for yourselves is, rest is so wonderful. Just allowing your body that time. It's amazing what it does. And again, this morning, I was able to sleep in. I had no choice. when I'm sick and I'm not feeling good and I'm tired, I have to. And so I lay back down. I get up at my normal time. I just automatically wake up. But after I'm up for a little bit, I realize, oh no, I'm not awake. I need to go back to bed. And fortunately, I was able to fall back to sleep, and that helped. And then the second time I woke up, I was doing much better. So yeah, I got some sleep. But yeah, I still, I'm gonna putter around. Nothing strenuous, but you know me. I can't just sit. So anyway, well, I'm gonna drink some coffee and then I'll start picking up the kids, and then we'll see what the day brings.